table?
Well, look, again, as I said before, we've put forward the proposals that we favor, both on the revenue side of the budget and the spending side of the budget. The commission is not yet even formed, and I think one of the important principles here is we have to respect the work of the commission and let it do its work, and that's what we intend to do. Lori?
Some advocates of the Fiscal Commission, while pleased that you all are going that direction, would like to see more from the administration in terms of starting to talk about the tough choices that are going to be necessary. Was there any consideration when you put the budget together to either paying for some of the extension of policies like the AMT or the Bush tax cuts, or not permanently extending them?
Well, again, we have $1.2 trillion in deficit reduction contained in this budget. You know, a lot of painful choices that are already that have already been put on the table, and that we've already discussed some of them. So, is more necessary? Sure, but we think that to get the rest of the way there and get the medium-term deficit down to where it needs to be requires a bipartisan process, and that's what we're pursuing.
Hi, Peter. About the mortgage deduction and the charitable deduction,
yep.
Last year when that was proposed for this year, 2011, it seemed as though even among some Democrats on the Hill that there was considerable resistance to that idea, especially in a slow mortgage market or a slow housing market. Are you confident that you can get enough support in Congress for that? It seems as though that's one of the sacred cows that we've been talking about.
Well, again, let's be clear about what we're proposing. We're proposing to limit itemized deductions for the top, under the top 5% of taxpayers back to the rate that applied when Ronald Reagan was president. So I think it's important to put in context. Now, there's going to be lots of questions about the political economy of what can get enacted and what can't. And I would just again return to the point that last year, many people were skeptical that we would succeed in getting a lot of the terminations and reductions that we had put forward at that point. We're going to fight for the things that we put forward because we believe we need additional job creation now and significant deficit reduction in the out years. And I think that that reflects the priorities that not only the President has put forward, but that make most sense for the economy as a whole.
Have there been conversations with the Hill on that specific provision?
There have been conversations with the Hill on lots of topics, not surprisingly. So let's go over here.
Hi, this is Lalit Shah from Press Trust of India. An hour ago, President spoke about a nation being at war. Can you give us a sense of your war spending? How much increase has been this year? And does it also include any common sense budgetary cut, which the President spoke about?
Yes, even war spending is subjected to the same scrutiny that the base defense budget and other spending is. For fiscal year 2011, we have put forward a proposal for $160 billion to finance the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And that's roughly level with the all-in cost for 2010. Way in the back.
Peter, you talked yesterday about a glide path. Mm-hmm. Can you discuss sort of the challenge of trying to turn the tap off in a gradual way so as not to kick the legs out from the recovery?
Yes. So as I mentioned, we face two substantial challenges: a jobs deficit, more than 7 million lost jobs since December 2007, and a fiscal deficit with large out-year deficits, 5% of the economy, even after the economy has recovered. One of the challenges is we need to get those deficits down in the future so that we don't choke off economic activity and job creation. But we want to make sure we don't do that too quickly, or we will repeat the mistakes of 1937. Remember what happened then when the economy was beginning to recover, the nation moved to consolidate the deficit too quickly, and you threw the economy back into recession. We don't want to do that. So what we're seeking is a fairly smooth path from roughly 10% of the economy today down to those levels that, say, at 4% of the economy by 2015, put us within shooting range of a fiscally sustainable path. And as I said, more will be necessary, which is why we're creating a fiscal commission. But we don't want to act too rapidly to bring down the deficit because that would exacerbate the jobs deficit. And so we're trying to find this balanced approach in which we have a smooth glide path from 10% down to a more sustainable level. And I think that's what's reflected in this budget. Right here.
Thanks, Peter. President on Friday said he's read Paul Ryan's budget proposal. I'm assuming you've read it, wanted to know if that's the case. Wanted to know, in your words, what you think is the biggest difference between your plan, your vision, your way forward, and his. And second, could you answer Jonathan's question about the sustainability of the debt?
First, as I said, let me answer that first. One of the reasons we are creating a fiscal commission is to get the deficit over the medium term down to a level that has a stable debt to GDP ratio. And that is important. It also would be reflected in a balanced budget excluding interest payments on the debt. So that's the first point. I would note, however, that for right now, in 2010, private borrowing has collapsed. Long-term interest rates on federal securities, so the 10-year interest rate remains below 4%. And the reason that that has happened is, in a sense, the U.S. Treasury is basically the last borrower left standing. In the severe economic downturn that we have been experiencing, that is exactly what should happen because it helps to bolster the economy in the short run. The issue is that as you go out over time and private borrowing picks up, you want to make sure that you're getting ahead of the fiscal deficit problem so that you're not substantially crowding out private activity. So that's with regard to the first point. Now, with regard to Representative Ryan, I have a lot of respect for Mr. Ryan, and I have read the plan that he put forward. It is worthy to delve into that for a moment because it provides a contrast. His plan succeeds in addressing our long-term fiscal problem, which is a significant accomplishment. But let's examine how he does that. He takes the Medicare program, and for those 55 and below, turns it into a voucher program